Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to tonight's final bonus upload. This one is just a lot of information, a lot of research. There are some maps displayed on where these attacks happened, and I'm hoping you guys will enjoy it. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They all were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things, they really do help this channel to continue to grow and go, and folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to tonight's final bonus, shall we? With spring fast approaching, where I live in the Adirondacks, have been looking this winter at a lot of different possible Dogman, possible Sasquatch, possible portals, possible or classified military installations from the 50s and 60s that supposedly helped create super soldiers out of children. And I stumbled upon that and realized that area is a half an hour north of me. It's about, I'd say, 15 minutes from where Tom Mezek disappeared as the crow flies. The reason why I bring this up is because Tom Mezek, his case is one of the cases that I am dedicating a lot of time to. Being that it's in my backyard, I want answers to it. I have a platform that I am able to reach out and get ideas and theories from you guys. 30,000 strong. And I'm hoping that with your guys' eyes while I'm making these videos out there, you might be able to spot something that I don't. So when I go back to Brant Lake or Horkin, you guys are going with me, which will be very, very soon. The reason why I bring this up, though, is because I want to talk about another case that is very similar to Tom Mezek's. There's 3 cases that are so similar. It is frightening. This one I really want to talk about because I haven't talked about it yet. The other 2 I have, which would be Eric Smith from Tazewell, Virginia, and Tom Mezek from Troy, New York, but he disappeared in Horicon or Brant Lake. The case that I want to talk about now is one of Jeremy Childress. He disappeared back in October 17th of 2004. Not a hair was found. But once again, I really do, guys. I really think the the missing needle in the haystack is not looking up. No one's looking up in these cases. These creatures are agile. They're able to climb. They are able to move among the trees. It could be a portal. It could be this. It could be that. But until I go up north and look, I'm going to continue with the theory that I believe these people are taken up into the trees by dogmen. And that's my theory, and I will stick by it. So this is the case that I want to look at. December 12th, 2004, Beaver, Oregon. As the first gray stains of dawn broke up the night Saturday, searchers gathered on a rugged Oregon coast range to try and trace the last known steps of Jeremy Childress. At one time, some 300 searchers, including sheriff deputies and 7 Oregon counties, combed the steep gullies and almost tropical dense undergrowth, looking for signs of the elk hunter who vanished here in October 17th, 2004. On a Saturday, on what would have been his 6th wedding anniversary, some 80 volunteers answered a call by the family to try once more to bring closure, good or bad, for Kristen Childress and the couple's 2 small children. As she related, her husband, 31-year-old industrial bridge painter, and 2 others made camp in a rugged area October 15th and drove off to find firewood. They lost track of the camp and spent the night in the truck. The next afternoon, Childress headed into the woods on a hunch that he could find the camp. He had a rifle, a pocket knife, and a half a pack of Marlboro. Kristen Childress, 28, said her husband probably kept moving on in the fog. Rainy afternoon, even after dark, to stay warm. Deputies who searched the area called it some of the roughest territory in the Northwest. If he hunkered down behind a log, he might have lasted a couple of days, said Tillamook County Sheriff's Deputy Don Taylor. If he fell and had a compound fracture or was bleeding badly, he may have died that night. Kristen Childress, meanwhile, was left to explain his disappearance to their 3-year-old daughter Kelsey. Their 8-month-old son Jesse was too young to understand what happened. I tell her he is in her heart and in the stars, she said. She makes wishes to the stars and says, I love you, and that she has a flashlight to go up to the stars and look for him, Childress says. Childress says she has transitioned from they can't find him to he is not coming home. Oregon will not issue a death certificate for a missing person, so she cannot get insurance benefits or sell her husband's truck or boat to help expenses. At some point, she says, she will have to go before a judge and have him declared deceased. She says she doesn't know when she'll be ready to do that. I'm okay, said Childress, who works as an administrative assistant for Salem Kaiser School District. There are 2 memorial funds for the children. Money is still coming in and I haven't touched it yet. Volunteers, mostly hunters themselves, were told to stay only a few feet apart. In a dense coast range, people can get disoriented and lost only a few feet off of the rustic roads, which are cut along the hillsides. It seemed the right thing to do, said Dan Nano, Portland suburb of Milwaukee, who, like most of those, were combing the heavy brush. They didn't know Childress. People who knew Jeremy Childress said he would not have vanished on purpose. They said he adored his daughter and son. Kristen Childress dismissed the thought out of hand. Everyone we talked to said that he loved his wife and children. He loved his job, Taylor, the sheriff's deputy, said. I just want to kind of touch basis on something really quick. This guy is he's a young man. I'm gonna hit pause really quick. Something just dawned on me. Okay, so he's a young man, beautiful young family. He's got a great job, just like Eric Smith. Eric Smith was a little older, 10 years older. But wonderful job, beautiful family, middle class life. What the American dream is, you know? I mean, the American dream is basically to have a family and be able to support them and live happily. You know, yes, there are struggles, but whatnot. Seems to me they both had decent jobs. He had a decent job. He was an industrial bridge painter. That's not a bad racket. Just like Eric Smith. He was the mine foreman, daytime mine foreman. Not a bad racket that is either. So for the media or anyone to say he left because he wasn't happy. He had a beautiful job. I mean, and a great family. And it's sad because his little son will never know who he is. Never. I doubt that he will even be able to remember the 8 months. This is an article from October 17th, 2014, 10 years later. Mom still haunted by son's disappearance while hunting. 10 years ago, Friday, the 31-year-old hunter walked into the brush of the Tillamook State Forest and disappeared. Jeremy Childress has not been seen since. Childress, described as an experienced hunter, was out in the rugged, treacherous terrain of Tillamook Forest on a hunting trip with his partner, Shane Louie. The two left for the trip on October 15th. Not long after, however, they lost track of their campsite. Louie told officials that the men spent 2 days searching for the spot where they set up camp. Louie and his 12-year-old son returned to the truck, but Childress was convinced that the camp was not far off. Leaving the two behind, he walked into the thick brush of the forest and disappeared. That was the last time anyone saw him. The fully loaded rifle, pocket knife, pack of cigarettes he was carrying also vanished. His body still has not been found. Whatever happened to him after he set off into the brush on October 17, 2004, remains a mystery to this day. In the months after Childress' disappearance, Statement Journal continued to report on the missing persons case. Our reporters covered hour-long search parties and combed the treacherous woods described by the Tillamook County Sheriff's Office as an area filled with steep terrain, heavy underbrush, and fallen trees. In reports just months after Childress disappeared, the undersheriff at the time said the area typically sees 1 or 2 hunters go missing every season, but the majority eventually find their way to a road. An obituary for the missing hunter didn't run until October 15, 2006. It finally acknowledged that Childress had been declared deceased, but vowed to keep him in the loving memory. But for Becky Grimes, Jeremy's mother, every day is yet another day without closure or answers. She has no body to bury and no gravesite to visit. Every day, she says, she is haunted by an awful mystery of what could have happened to her son. I still have hope today he will be found. I'd much rather have him here with us than up on that mountain. I still can't go up there. Grimes approached us last week with the hope that we would write a story about Jeremy with the 10th anniversary of his disappearance to remind the public about the case. She made up flyers with Jeremy's picture, showing a mustached man with brown hair, brown eyes, begging for information into his whereabouts. Although she hasn't ventured into the forest where her son vanished, Grimes still heads up to the general area to put flyers and check on the small memorial she established in his name. She doesn't know what will happen with his missing persons case. All she is to hold on to is the hope that someone somewhere will find something. This is not about me, she insists, reluctant at first to even be identified by name. I want this to focus on my son and that he is still missing. This needs to be kept out there. This needs to be kept open. It's not the not knowing, but I do have hope. Anyone with information about Jeremy Childress and his disappearance is asked to contact the Tillamook County Sheriff's Office at 503-815-1911. Alright guys, so this is where Jeremy Childress went missing. Just so you can see how that's the Tillamook Forest right there. It is huge. Not as big as the Adirondacks, but it is very, very large. I want to show you. There's the Coastal Range Road right here. He was over in this area here. This is just vast amounts of woods. Like they said, steep terrain, almost like a tropical rainforest. It's very, very disturbing where it's crazy because you know he has hunted this area before and never to be seen again is absolutely insane. There's just, fire roads. This is, how insane is that, my friends? Just to refresh everybody's memories, Eric Smith, 41, Tazewell, Virginia, disappeared November 8th, 2013. November 5th, 2020. Where's Eric? Missing. Tazewell Hunter, unsolved. Almost 7 years ago, a man everyone described as dedicated, hard-working, went hunting early morning on his property near Cedar Bluff, but he never returned and has not been seen since that day. That's something you guys really like. When you hear these cases, you hear that he went missing. They roll into the story, But I don't know if you caught this. Went hunting early one morning on his property. His property. Not national forest. Not state forest. His own property. And was never seen again. Eric Smith, 41, left his home November 8th, 2013 to hunt along West Hurt Buggy Road. His mother, Drumma Smith, said This was nothing out of the ordinary since he was an avid hunter. Local residents, the search and rescue team from Buchanan 1, the coal mine where he worked as a superintendent, the law enforcement community conducted an extensive search, but Smith could not be found. Drumma Smith said her son had left his cell phone and his cigarettes behind, and that was unusual since he was always on call for his job. Not really. I mean, I don't know, but he lived with his wife and kids, so why just, I'm asking, you know, just like the mom for Jeremy Childress, the wife should be the one speaking. Just in my eyes, the wife should be the one with those details. You know, I don't know if Drumma lived with him or not, but I mean, is she really noticed that he didn't bring his smokes? He didn't bring his phone. He always brings his phone. I'm not really sure. Maybe he just went out for a quick hunt. His wife was, heading out to do, I believe, a Christmas tree decorations or something like that. And yeah, to decorate a tree for his mother-in-law. That's just very strange to me that they're relying on news or information from the mom, but he lived with his wife. Maybe if he was 13, the mom would know him better, but I mean, anyway. Grandma said she's been keeping in contact with investigators to see if there's any new leads about her son's disappearance. There's nothing new for them to offer me. There is a $20,000 reward, though. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I've read this numerous times. He had a great job. I mean, a great job. He was a very responsible person. Very high position with Console, said Don View Houghton of Bluefield, Virginia. He was dedicated to his family. It was a position with a lot of responsibility, and he had to understand the mining laws inside and out. Another guy he worked with, Robert Baff. He's very dedicated at his job, good coal miner, moved up the ladder fast. Very similar to Jeremy Childress. Two hunters just gone. Just like Tom Mezek, I will not forget these cases. These cases need to stay in public eye. The public needs to be kept aware of this. There's thousands more just like it. But we cannot forget them. We cannot let them just... People, we live in 2022. All right? I mean, the technology we have is unbelievable compared to 20 years ago. And people are still going missing in our state parks, in our national parks, just in their woods alone. This shouldn't be happening nowadays. What's the point of creating such technology that now we can't even find people in the woods? Very strange to me, very strange. Let me show you where Eric Smith went missing on his property. This is Cedar Bluff, Virginia, and I don't know if you can see my cursor, but right here is West Hurt Buggy Road. Right here. This is the general area where he went missing. As you can see, there's some dense woods, but look, you've got a town over here. You got some dense woods all. There's a big difference. and where Jeremy Childress went missing to this. But the similarity is they were both hunters, and they disappeared during hunting season without a trace. I think it was right around here is where he was hunting. In this area here. Or he could have went over here. But, I mean, just trees as far as the eye can see. It's crazy. And the last case, a case that I will never, ever stop talking about, and I will never stop going up there because I don't know why. I'm just drawn to the case. I don't know if it's because it's in my backyard or what, but I do know that when I went up there recently and I was followed by something on both sides of the trail, that's when I made my mind up that I was never ever going to give up on the Tom Mezek case. I never will. I'm not just talking about the case because I need a video or I want to write a book or I want to do this or I want to do that. I'm not going to give up because he was a local. He was an upstate New Yorker. He was a veteran in 82nd Airborne. He was a badass back in the day. And he disappeared, swallowed up by the Adirondacks on November 15th, 2015, my daughter's birthday. My daughter turned 8 that day. I will never stop looking at this case. I never will. And I'm sorry if it annoys anybody, but it's a case that I will probably talk about once a year after I go up in about a week and do another search. I will be armed. I will not go unarmed again. I can tell you that much. I want to show you where he disappeared. All right, this is Brant Lake, okay? Where my cursor is, right here, this is Route 8. That's the main road up there. We're gonna scroll into Lily Pond Road. Lily Pond Road. So when you're driving up through here, you turn, it's literally like a fire road. And you continue to go down Lily Pond Road. This is the way he took, okay? Now, there's a parking area. Right around here. This is the Lily Pond Trail. Like I said, when I drove up, Lily Pond Trail is a trail that goes around Lily Pond. Okay? I had parked and I walked up through here. This arrow is me. And I got to about right here. And I started thinking to myself, well, what if? I started to think to myself, the statement that was made that stuck out that day to me was, we searched and searched the ground in the area, and there was not even a scene of a struggle on the ground. As I'm over here, I'm thinking about this, and I start walking back. Okay, this is Lily Pond Trail. I'm walking back. I get to about, I'd say right here. All right, so where my arrow is, right here, I have to walk all the way through here and back to where my car is. So I'm here, and I start walking, and I get to about right here. And whatever was in this woods started following me on both sides. So one here, one here. I continue to walk. I get to right about here. And I turn around. I don't see anything, but I can hear something scampering back off into the woods. I get into my car and I leave because it was getting dark out and getting late. I don't know what was following me that day or that evening, but I didn't want to stick around and find out. But I know that he went missing here, and I'm going back and I'm looking up. That's the one thing I can say to myself, is just keep looking up. Well, always look around, but keep looking up. Whatever has taken these men from their families, whether it be portals, Bigfoot, Dogman, they cannot be forgotten. My theory, I believe it to be a Dogman. I believe they were hunted. The hunter became the hunted. All of them had firearms with them. They all had a weapon. And nothing. I mean, it makes no sense. You've got a firearm, yet whatever was stalking you was capable of taking you out without a sound, without disturbing the rest of nature that was around you. Which only, I really, really think they're up. They're up. They're in the trees. They got pulled into the trees very quickly. It's the only thing that can make sense to me. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of, I've been thinking about this. Maybe there isn't a Dogman. Maybe it's like a bipedal cat. There's been rumored of those down in Texas. But I don't know. All I know is something stalked me on the trails. 2 somethings. And these men disappeared. Without a trace. Makes no sense to me, does it you? Maybe it is a bipedal cat. Who knows? That explains the climbing ability better than a Dogman. But Dogmen are known to climb trees just as good as a regular cat. They're very agile, regardless of their height and weight. I don't know. The only thing I can say is maybe I'll find some answers when I go back up. All right, guys. Well, these are just a few of the people that have gone missing without a trace. See, I really can't see anyone going missing without a trace nowadays, but I can see someone going missing or, being attacked and never seen again armed with a firearm. But these 3 cases were all someone with a firearm, someone hunting. The hunter becomes the hunted. All right, folks, like I said, a lot of information, a lot of research, and some maps shared so you guys can get a feel of where these hunters went missing. Very strange, unexplained. Media, once again, working with the government hand in hand. And like I said, spring is coming. Everyone needs to be kind of on point while hiking and enjoying the outdoors in springtime. Guys, thank you for supporting the channel. Your support is what makes this channel special. It's also what makes it continue to grow and go. Please, everyone, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real, they're out there, and they are dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for answers, and God bless you all.